We are set up on our first window cleaning job of the day, and today in specific, I'm going to be focusing on how I approach a window cleaning job. One of the biggest things when preparing for a job or how to tackle it is going to be during the estimate part of it. If you're able to take a look at it in person for the estimate, I realize not every job you might not be able to do that. Maybe you're going off pictures on some of them, but knowing what the house is shaped like, knowing what kind of windows you're going to have to access is going to give you a big idea what you're going to have to do during the day while you're actually on the job site. With the job we're doing today, this face of it gets the morning sun. For us, we chose to get up early today to get a head start on it, to beat the sun. Of course, to be a great window washer, you need to know how to clean in the sun, but you can also just be smart and work along with the sun and trying to work ahead of it rather than working in the sun the whole day and working against yourself. It's good to always have a framework for how you approach a job, and depending on you, your situation, your setup, your crew, that's gonna be different for every person. But for me, if you wanna know how I generally approach a job, when I show up, the first thing I do is we do a job site walk around. We kind of survey what's going on. If you're by yourself, it's good to do it for yourself. For me, of course, I kind of line out my crew on their tasks, but generally we're always gonna be doing the same thing. We're gonna have one person going around popping out those screens so we have access to the glass. Once those screens are out, we'll generally start cleaning them then, or maybe towards the end of the job. But from there, the interior guy gets in, he starts working on the side of the house that is gonna be getting into the sun. So we try to stay ahead of the sun. Again, you should learn how to wash windows in the sun, but why not be smart and just work ahead of it so you can save yourself some headache as well. As that interior guy gets going on the insides, we get the exterior guy as well washing. For the exterior guy, he's gonna be wanting to look for those areas where there's going to be drips coming down from the glass. So any multiple stacked windows, he'll be trying to start on those areas unless there's a spot where the interior guy wants him to be starting on, because sometimes working together as a team, interior and exterior, can really help you see those spots that maybe aren't gonna clean up versus having to look at those way later and then do touch-ups. Along with having a good framework in place for your actual workflow, one of the biggest and most important things you can do can be an open and honest, of course, communicator with your customer. Setting the proper expectations for your work, what to expect, and also not over promising. It's very important to tell them plainly what you're going to be able to offer them and not try to oversell yourself, because then on every job site you're going to be trying to work up to a standard that's not really possible to meet. All right, we're just about wrapped up on this first job of the day, and again, kind of following your framework for how you lay out your jobs. I'll go ahead and pop up a picture of what my job form looks like. This is something we more recently started doing, but this just helps us keep in line with what we're trying to get done. We're going to start popping the screens in here, and then Craig just has a couple more touch-ups on the glass because of the oxidations making an absolute headache for us today. But once we get the screens popped in, we're kind of doing our final check round, see if there's any touch-ups we need to do before we head out. Make sure the customer's happy, collect payment, and then we'll be on to our next job. Let me know down in the comments below though, what is your guys' situation? Are you just getting into window washing? And if so, what would be the most kind of helpful content for you guys to see? Or have you been doing window washing for a while and you just enjoy watching it? With windows that are behind a bed like this, one of my favorite things to do is, if the window is an operable window that slides side to side, bring the side, slide it over. This allows you to be able to clean the window right here, slide it back, and then clean the window underneath it, so that way you don't have to try to crawl around the bed or be over top of it. We are at this third job of the day for me. I guess the crew is still on the second job, and this job is just a roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, which I was kind of mentioning earlier. I did grab my leaf blower for this one. We'll go ahead and get up on the roof, kind of check it out and see what we need done. There is the gutter guards and all this, so we're not actually cleaning out the gutters. We're more of just brushing off what's actually on top of their gutter guards themselves. So this, I'll go ahead and grab my brush as well and just put it on a pole to kind of help loosen this stuff up and knock it off. Off the majority of the debris. As you can see, these gutter guards, they just kind of hang on to some of the pine needles. So what I'm doing right now is just taking this boar's hair brush on a carbon fiber trad pole from Zero, and just using that to go along and kind of break up those needles out of these edges that won't just blow out with the leaf blower. Finishing up now with the gutter cleaning slash roof cleaning job. Everything came off pretty well. Had to go ahead and just take that brush off all the gutter guards and then go ahead and blow it off. And again, if you're looking for some kind of vertical integration of other services to do on a property besides just window cleaning, getting a leaf blower like this, spend a couple $100s on a nice leaf blower, and you can make thousands of dollars throughout the year if you're able to upsell people on that service. As a window cleaner, of course, one of your biggest things you're looking to do is be good at your skill, right? Be good at actually cleaning the glass itself, but never overlook the actual customer service side of it, because at the end of the day, our bosses are really our clients, right? If we do a bad job for our client, or they don't like us personally, or we don't treat them well, it doesn't matter how good of a job you do at actually cleaning the glass, they're not going to want you to come back to their house. So one of the biggest things you can do is really be a good person to your customers. Just be kind, respectful, care for the product, and care for also their property they're on, because that's at the end of the day what they really care about there. And just show them that you truly, genuinely want to do a good job for them. You can be a really crappy window washer and be a really nice guy, and they'll still call you back the next year as long as you make a really good impression with them. We're pretty much finished up on the second job here. The guys, Judah and Craig, killed it here. The main thing we're dealing with on these windows is we're kind of surrounded by a lot of trees on every side of the job, and I don't think these windows have ever been cleaned before, but there's definitely a good buildup of sap on it, and often with sap, razors don't really do much, so you kind of almost have to crawl up there and steel wool it off to get the sap completely off. All right, the guys are getting started on the fourth job of the day, and I ran over to go do an estimate real quick on the place in town here, right where I live, so really close by to the job site still. I'm gonna go ahead and run through this. If you guys are ever interested though in having a video on how I quote for window cleaning, definitely let me know and I can make a video more specifically covering that topic. We're just about wrapped up on the final job of the day. Overall today, been a really solid day. We've gotten about, well, 4 jobs in one estimate, so a pretty like movement packed day, a lot of moving from job site to job site. That's kind of the downside of doing smaller jobs again, is that you're just packing up so much. So we're making about the same amount that we made on our other day when we only had 2 jobs, so you can see the efficiency gap there versus just doing a couple bigger jobs versus doing a bunch of small jobs. Setting your framework for your job is an important thing. Figure out a process that works best for you and stick to it. And of course, the most important thing with this a lot of times is setting your customers' expectations in the right spot and communicating well with them so they know what's going to happen, they know what to expect, and then when they achieve that result, it's not unexpected. They're not expecting something else out of it. So be open, be a good communicator, be honest with them, and set their expectations in a good spot. That's going to help you go a long ways in the industry. Thanks for coming along with me today and kind of seeing how workflow goes for me. I know I can go into more detail about all these things, but it's better just to kind of give general ideas of things to do because it's going to be so different depending on your situation. But if you guys ever do want to see kind of like a job just front to back, almost uncut, the process of it going on, do let me know that as well. I can kind of go into more depth on some of these topics, but hopefully this was kind of helpful seeing the workflow for me in a general sense, and hopefully you can kind of apply it into whatever situation you might have as well.